All right, let's just jump right in. We all know cybersecurity training is a big deal, but if we're being honest, it's usually the one thing on the calendar everyone dreads. The thing is, that old way of doing things isn't just boring, it's actually dangerous. Because the biggest threat to any company's security isn't some mastermind hacker in a hoodie, it's us. It's plain old human error. And this number, this really shows you the scale of the problem. 68%. Think about that. In 2024, that's how many data breaches could be traced right back to a person making a mistake. That means nearly 7 out of every 10 successful attacks happened because an employee clicked on the wrong thing or fell for a scam. It's a huge vulnerability, and it's one we can absolutely do something about. So that leads to the big question, right? If the boring videos and the once-a-year quizzes aren't stopping people from clicking that malicious link, what on earth is going to work? It's pretty clear we need a totally new game plan. At its heart, what we're dealing with is an engagement problem. You know what I'm talking about, sitting through those endless slide presentations. One company, Beaumont Health, called it death by PowerPoint, and that's just perfect. The information might be critical, but the way it's delivered practically guarantees our brains just check out. What happens is, this creates a check-the-box mentality. The goal for employees isn't to actually learn anything, it's just to get it over with as quickly as possible so they can check that box for HR. And when you're just mindlessly clicking next, you're not building the gut instincts you need to spot a real-world threat. So, how do we fix this? Well, we change the rules of the game, literally. The solution is a really powerful strategy called gamification. So what are we even talking about when we say gamification? It's basically about taking all the stuff that makes video games so addictive. Earning points, beating challenges, climbing leaderboards, and getting cool rewards, and applying all of that to something like security education. Now, I want to be super clear here. This is not about turning the office into an arcade or making light of serious security threats. It's a powerful teaching tool that uses the psychology of games to make learning stick, and more importantly, to actually change people's behavior. Here's how it actually rewires our brains. It creates a habit loop. So, an employee takes an action, right? Let's say they correctly report a fake phishing email. They get instant feedback, boom, points pop up on their screen. That gives them a little hit of positive reinforcement, that good feeling of achievement. You do that enough times, and that secure behavior, it starts to become second nature, a habit. All right, that all sounds great in theory, but what about the results? I mean, does this stuff actually work? Let's take a look at the data. Okay, just look at this chart. The difference is staggering. A global energy company found that with their old, traditional training, only about 10% of their employees were actually engaged. After they brought in gamified challenges, that number shot up to 70%. That is a huge leap. More engagement means more people are actually learning. And it's not just about the numbers, you can see how employees feel about it. A survey from Talent LMS found that with gamified training, a massive 83% of employees felt more motivated. It's really simple. People just learn better when they're not bored out of their minds. But this is the number that should make every executive sit up and pay attention. The security platform HawksHunt saw an incredible 86% reduction in actual phishing failures across their clients. That's not just better engagement, that's a massive drop in real-world risk. And this isn't some fringe idea. Major companies are all over this. PwC uses something called the Game of Threats to train their top execs. Beaumont Health, we mentioned them, used it to engage their super busy hospital staff. Digital Guardian built a whole culture around celebrating security wins. IBM is even running cybersecurity escape rooms. This is a proven strategy that works. And this quote from a security manager, man, it just perfectly captures the whole point. It's about changing the entire mindset. Security stops being a chore you have to do, and it becomes a challenge, a game you actually want to win. That's how you build a real proactive defense. Okay, so let's say you're on board. How do you actually pull this off? And do it right, because it's not as simple as just slapping a leaderboard onto your old PowerPoint deck. First things first, and this is absolutely critical, the culture has to be right. You know the old way, right? The public shame list for anyone who fails a phishing test? That fear-based stuff just doesn't work. The right way is all about rewarding good behavior, being supportive, and even making it a team effort. You celebrate the wins instead of just punishing the mistakes. And here are just a few key principles to keep in mind. First, the challenges have to be based on real risks your company faces, otherwise it's pointless. It's also smart to mix some friendly competition with teamwork, because that appeals to different types of people. And of course, you need to give people continuous feedback so they can actually get better. And maybe the most important one, avoid what's called pointsification. Don't just slap points on things for the sake of it. The game has to serve the learning, not distract from it. And please, remember this. This can't be a one-off thing. Security awareness isn't a box you check once a year. For this to really work and build lasting habits, it has to be a continuous, ongoing program. Because in the end, that's the whole goal, isn't it? It's about this incredible transformation, taking what everyone always calls the weakest link in the security chain, your people, and turning them into your most vigilant, active first line of defense. So, I guess that's the question to leave you with. Think about your own organization. Right now, is your human firewall a liability just waiting for the next attack to happen? Or could it become your single greatest security asset?